I'm posting this video here to address the issue of whether your Sonos Arc here is going to work with your TV to deliver Dolby Atmos surround sound. In fact, if your TV isn't sold with Dolby Atmos advertised, connecting a Sonos Arc to it probably will not give you Dolby Atmos surround sound. Towards the end of the video, I'll be flashing a list of TVs known to be compatible with the Sonos Arc for Dolby Atmos sound output. The list has been gathered via feedback from viewers in my previous videos, so a very big thank you to all you viewers out there and your contributions. If you have any questions regarding how to get Atmos sound from your TV to your Sonos Arc, do leave your queries in the comment section below, and I'm quite sure we can collectively help each other out. And if you want to follow my latest video where I review tech and how we use them, do consider subscribing to my channel and join me and my viewers in discussions in the comment section below every single video. Over the last 2 days of owning the Sonos Arc, we have discovered that the entry to the world of Atmos doesn't come guaranteed with the purchase of the Sonos Arc. Basically, there are 3 components here with 2 links: the source, the TV, and the Sonos Arc, with links in between them. So far, the source components aren't the issue. Most of the recent source components, they do process and output Dolby Atmos. Then in the link to the TV, when it tries to negotiate the Atmos capabilities, if the TV doesn't identify itself to have Atmos processing, then the source doesn't output Atmos. There's a way to pass through for some components, but then the TV itself has to process it. And if your TV is not capable of processing Atmos, it will drop the Atmos signal anyway. So remember, Dolby charges a license fee to manufacturers for adding Atmos processing. So if they did pay for it, they would have marketed it as such. If they didn't advertise it as such, the likelihood is it is not Atmos compatible. Next link is the link from the TV to the Sonos Arc. At this point, the incoming sound to the TV has already been processed. If it doesn't recognize Atmos, it wouldn't have carried the Atmos signal, and even if the output is set to Dolby Digital Plus, the output still ain't going to be carrying the Atmos signal, and thus the Sonos Arc doesn't see the Atmos signal, and there won't be Atmos surround sound. Note that TVs aren't usually designed to pass through outputs from the HDMI in over to the ARC port with a connected audio device, so there would have been some processing on the sound within the TV on its own. A variant of this 3-component setup is the 2-component setup. And then that's when the TV has its own apps for streaming content. Disney+, Netflix, they're all capable of streaming content with Atmos. But at this point, the client, basically the built-in source, is checking with the TV if it is Atmos capable. And if it is not, the client won't be throwing out Atmos content. The client won't be checking with the Sonos Arc. Well, I wish it did check, but it is not. And at this point, you won't be able to get Atmos content out through the HDMI port to the Sonos Arc, and it would not be receiving the Dolby signal, and thus no Dolby Atmos logo on your S2 app. If you think about it, the source won't be checking with the output device that's connected to the HDMI ARC port, which is an output port on the formats that it supports. It will just be checking with the TV itself. So since Atmos was introduced to the market about 5 years ago, most of the development efforts were focused on the higher-end AVR setups, which is the link between the source and the TV. The ARC channel wasn't meant to carry Atmos signals. Very little attention was paid to the ARC port because users who used that port wanted convenience, not sonic performance. So that port is weak, and the burden of sound processing on the TV was greatly reduced, and it was actually an afterthought to add the Atmos pass-through or Dolby Digital pass signals to the ARC channels. But to make soundbars work with the TV, the industry made use of the ARC channel, and the sound processing then came after the TV. The TV was never put in the middle of the chain before, and the industry never meant it as an Atmos-capable processor. Dolby charges a fee for putting Atmos into products. The manufacturer pays for it and passes the cost on to us as the consumers. So the TV in its original designated role never had to do the job. Sound wasn't its job. The AVR took the job before this, and thus most TV never had Atmos as it causes the price of the TV to go up for most people. And back then, when AV enthusiasts wanted Atmos, they never relied on the TV before. So the sound processing and the ARC port was underdeveloped. Today, being forced into the middle position, it meant that the TV now has to do the heavy lifting for sound processing. Even if it doesn't do the full processing, it still has to be re-engineered to allow for full pass-through. Further to that, the ARC port needed to be developed to carry higher bandwidth, and that's where eARC comes into play, allowing for full bandwidth, lossless Atmos signals to be transmitted over Dolby HD. The ARC port is no longer the afterthought that it started out to be. So remember, whether Dolby Atmos is going to be sent over to the Sonos Arc or not is not determined by whether you have an eARC port or an ARC port. It is predicated on whether the TV itself is capable of processing Atmos. In short, the weakest link is the TV link. If it is not advertised as Atmos compatible, it ain't passing through Atmos to the Sonos Arc. Now moving forward, with more focus on such setups as soundbars, and with more clients built into the TV to stream content, things are going to change a little bit. The TV is being forced in the middle position of the chain between the source and the sound output device. And with that, TVs will then be forced to process Atmos, or at least allow for full signal pass-through if it has enough bandwidth to handle the full signal. My advice right now is that if you want a soundbar, the Sonos Arc will be one of the finest that you can find out there now. But in terms of Atmos processing and compatibility, if your TV does not support Atmos, your Sonos Arc won't likely support it. Don't just assume that you can get lossy Atmos just because your TV has an ARC port and can turn on bitstream output with Dolby Digital Plus. The signal needs to be processed as Atmos before it can be output as Atmos to the Sonos Arc. Right now, if you buy a TV with eARC, the likelihood is that it will support Atmos. It doesn't mean that you'll get Atmos over eARC just because it's eARC. The key is Atmos processing. Again, if I were you, I'll make sure that the TV processes Atmos and don't assume that it's capable just because of an eARC port being present. Though, like I said, if the TV had an eARC port, the likelihood is that it is there because of the requirement to pass out lossless audio signals, which requires higher bandwidth, and thus Atmos support is more or less implied. Before we end this video, I'm sharing the list of TVs that are compatible with the Sonos Arc for Atmos. A lot of TVs can work with the Sonos Arc, but these are the ones working together to fully deliver Dolby Atmos surround sound. Kudos to my viewers who have contributed to building this list. From LG, we have the B7, B8 and B9s all working, confirmed by viewer Tim Atta and Supertar Vape. The C7 and the C9 confirmed by Derek Icon and the Starkillery. And the E9 as confirmed by Wenham Fitness PT. There's a good chance that you can get a recent LG TV to work with Dolby Atmos on the Sonos Arc. But Tyler Tron21 says LG will send only lossy signals even through an eARC port. Apparently, the 2020 models from LG still has this issue with the eARC connection. From Samsung, we haven't heard a lot of confirmation, but the Samsung Q60 is confirmed by viewer Edwin Kwok. There is a Reddit list shared by one of our viewers, Michael Ha, for TVs tested to work or not work with the Dolby Atmos on the Sonos Arc. And from that list, these are the compatible TVs. For those of you who can get your hands on the TCL, the Q825 have been confirmed too. From Sony, we have the AF8, AG8 and the X8G confirmed to be working. User Spinky UK has also confirmed that the AF8 is working with the Sonos Arc to play Atmos content. And for the latest confirmation, we have Simon Adam confirming that the VMAX 1 Pro Ultra Short Throw Laser Projector is capable of sending out lossy DD+ Atmos signals using its own built-in video player over the ARC connection. I tried it out myself on my own VMAX A300 Pro, but I did not manage to get it to output Atmos. So your mileage might vary for Chinese projectors. If you know of any other TVs that delivers Dolby Atmos signals to the Sonos Arc, do share and let us all know in the comment section below. If this video is of interest to you and you will want to follow up on my future tests on the Sonos Arc soundbar, do consider subscribing to my channel to stay tuned. I will see you in my next video.